This is the kind of video that I know 110% both of my favorite fan bases are gonna come into the comment section and just go to war. This is not gonna make anybody happy, and I can't believe that we're even talking about this, but I will let you know what's going on. So, I saw this idea pop up on a video made by a buddy of mine, Top Shelf Hockey, aka Mike. If you're on the hockey YouTube scene, Mike is an OG. He came up pretty much around the same time that I did, so I've always been pretty good friends with Mike. And he made this video talking about a huge Habs and Canucks trade. Now, he does a lot of rumor stuff, just like I do here on this channel, so I was very curious. I was like, wait a minute, what is this rumor that popped up that kind of slipped under my radar that Mike is talking about? And I ended up finding the article that he was bringing up. And this is a very, how do I say? It's a very lopsided idea. This is the kind of trade that I think Montreal Canadiens fans are absolutely going to hate. Canucks fans may hate it too, who really knows, but honestly, I think if you ask the majority of them, they would be either indifferent or accepting of this. I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments, but the article that we are pulling from is NHLTradeRumor.com. Canucks Habs offseason trade speculation, Dach Primeau for Pius, Suter, and picks. Oh boy. Big can of worms, right? This was written by Rob Ellis, published on March 26th. Normally, I wouldn't be covering something like this, but because it was such a crazy and lucrative idea, I felt like I had to give my 2 cents on here. Rumors are swirling about a potential blockbuster deal that would see young Kirby Dach shipped north in exchange for a package centered around Pius Suter. Now, north, is that really north? I don't know. Montreal to Vancouver? Say west instead, not north. I'm sorry, writer. But this is the idea. Canucks and Canadiens. Trade buzz. Dach and Primeau on the move. The Canucks are in win-now mode, and acquiring a player like Kirby Dach would be a gamble on his considerable upside. Dach endured a severe knee injury, but showed flashes of the star center he was projected to be. If healthy, he could become a key part of the Canucks' offensive core for years to come. Additionally, Vancouver adds a legitimate backup goaltending option in Cayden Primeau. Primeau's time in Montreal has been up and down, but the Canucks could offer the opportunity to groom him as a potential starter for the future. Why this trade works for the Montreal Canadiens. The Habs may be reluctant to see the offensively gifted Kirby Dach leave, but the emergence of Yaroslavkovsky lessens the blow. Pius Suter is a solid, versatile forward who could contribute immediately, while Arturs Silovs possesses upside from behind the goal line. Plus, the additional draft picks bolster the Habs' rebuild efforts. So, final thoughts, this trade has the potential to shake things up for both of these Canadian franchises. Would the Canucks bet on Dach's star potential and Primeau's regression? Would the Canadiens see the draft capital and Suter's reliability as compensation for Dach? Okay. So, I'll say this at the beginning. This article was just published as an article. There isn't any speculation or sources or whatever that's being brought to the forefront saying, oh yeah, here, this is what's being talked about. The writer here on NHLTradeRumor.com, Rob Ellis, just says himself, yeah, this is a trade idea. Here it is. And it's not really verified. So the fact that I'm making a video on this is kind of dumb, but we've gotten 3 minutes in. Let's try to dissect this a little bit. So the idea goes as follows. Montreal trades away Kirby Dach and Cayden Primeau in exchange for a package of Pius Suter, Arturs Silovs, and some draft picks. I said it a few videos ago, but I'll say it here again. These writers who make articles on NHL topics, y'all gotta stop giving me the layups, bro. Y'all's gotta stop setting me up with the alley-oops, tossing the ball right up in front of the net, and just allowing me to pick it up and slam it down. No, I can't do that. I'm only 5'3". I can't pick it up and slam it down. But either way, stop setting me up for these easy layups. This is an easy idea. And I go out there and say this would be a huge win for the Vancouver Canucks. Pius Suter is a good, versatile option. That he is. He's on pace for about 30 points this season in 68 games played. And he's fine. But Kirby Dach is 23 years old. Suter is 4 years older. Dach is bigger, he's right-handed, and he's signed on till 2026, making $3.3 million a year. Dach technically was a point-per-game player this year, which doesn't mean much because he only played 2 games, but still, Dach has gotten to a point now where he has grown considerably. Since his days with the Chicago Blackhawks, the Montreal Canadiens, and Martin St. Louis, They've given him a lot of development opportunities, and he's taken them in stride. He hasn't had the games played yet, but in the samples we're seeing, everything that we saw out of Uri Slafkovsky and the growth that he exhibited, Kirby Dach kind of exhibited that too. So, if the Montreal Canadiens sent Dach away for a guy like Pius Suter, I get it, Dach has not been playing, so you're actually acquiring a player that will play in Suter, that's fine. But the potential of Kirby Dach as a big right-handed playmaking first kind of center winger, think Ryan Getzlaf-esque, but just with a little bit less power forward tendencies. Kirby Dach is a player that I believe in 100%. I still think he's going to become a great player, 50, 60-point guy at this point, maybe even a 70-point guy once in a while. If the Vancouver Canucks can swap forwards Suter for Kirby Dach, I take that. And when you talk about the goaltenders being swapped here, hey, I love Arturs Silovs as much as the next guy, but he's been the AHL guy pretty much the past few years. That's about it. .907 save percentage with the Abbey Canucks, and realistically, as a guy who's 23 years old himself, Arturs Silovs isn't that much younger than Cayden Primeau, who is 24. Primeau, by the way, has already had NHL minutes. He has a .913 save percentage in 18 games played with the Habs this year. He's the better goalie. He's a year older, and if the Montreal Canadiens trade Primeau away, it wouldn't really make any sense because they just traded away Jake Allen and Casey DeSmith to keep Primeau and Montembeault around. They wanted to build this duo into the future. So sure, trading away Primeau for another goaltender, on paper, you could say the transaction works out 1-for-1, that'll be Montembeault and the new guy, but there's no reason to think about trading Cayden Primeau away. They just traded away everybody else. Casey DeSmith in Vancouver has been the secondary option, and he's been very good. I'll say that he's been awesome, behind Thatcher Demko. Maybe if the Vancouver Canucks don't feel that they want to go through a 3-goalie rotation, they wouldn't try this move. But value for value, if you trade away Silovs for Primeau, you're getting a better goaltender who is roughly in the same age range. So think about it like that. Kirby Dach is better than Pius Suter, at least if you talk about what they could be. And Cayden Primeau is better than Silovs right now. So what is this idea? It's just Vancouver getting better. Now, it does say in the article, oh, we'll add on draft picks. Vancouver will send some draft picks for the Montreal Canadiens. Okay, like, what exactly are those draft picks? They already traded some of them away in the Lindholm trade. Okay, fine. But if the Vancouver Canucks really are in win-now mode, or they're in win-now for the next few years mode, I think trading away an extra second or a third, or dare I even say a first-round pick, to make this go through, upgrade Suter to Dach, and then upgrade Silovs to Primeau, that's a price I'm willing to pay. And for the Montreal Canadiens fan in me, it just doesn't make any sense why these guys would be the ones tossed into the trade idea. If the Habs trade away Kirby Dach, they're not going to do it for a guy who's 4 years older than Pius Suter. I'm sorry. If they trade away Primeau, they're not going to do it for a guy who's the same age and less proven, especially at the AHL level in Arturs Silovs. I'm sorry. This just does not work. Doesn't work at all, which is why this is the most ridiculous idea I've seen pop up on my timeline. Shout out to Mike from Top Shelf Hockey for talking about it, by the way. I was like, yeah, I want to make a video about that. That's so ridiculous. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this absolutely dog water trade idea tossed out there onto this article. Kirby Dach and Cayden Primeau from the Montreal Canadiens to Vancouver Canucks in exchange for Pius Suter, Arturs Silovs, and a combination of whichever draft picks you want to choose. If you're a Montreal Canadiens fan, would you do this trade? If you're a Canucks fan, would you do this trade? From my perspective, as a fan of both teams, I'd take this and run. If I was Patrick Allvin, I'd hang up the phone immediately and try to delete my chat history if I was Kent Hughes proposing this trade. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Link is going to be in the description as well to the article. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.